11! Now that I think about it, 11 was an anomalous entity that was never meant to escape the custody of a shadowy Foundation. How strange. I would say that's a stranger thing, She seems to be doing well enough for herself, all things considered. Maybe some of these things can escape. I give them my blessing. Y'all can let me know how bad of an idea that is down in the comments. Hello horror heads and welcome back to the scariest channel on YouTube, Top 5 Scary Videos. I'm your horror host Keegan Hughes, and today we are for the 11th time counting down the top 5 SCP monsters that can never escape. Check your locks and hide stuff in your socks because there are plenty of weird and wild anomalies absolutely chomping at the bit to get out into some open air. Before we get started, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more outrageous excellence. Wicked, let's begin. Kicking us off at number 5, we have SCP-3253, the Prison of Ink and Flesh. Sounds pretty wicked, right? I'd watch that movie, I'd read that book. This anomaly is a phenomenon that only manifests when one specific subject uses a handmade needle to tattoo images onto another specific subject's skin. It's very specific, very odd. The image tattooed must resemble an object, person, time, place, or phenomenon that the tattooee has come into contact with and can recall. Once the tattoo is finished, the object being represented by the tattoo will disappear and instead become of the subject's skin. Indeed, a fleshy, inky prison. This works for pretty much any physical thing, including humans. If you want that thing back, it is possible to bring it back into existence by destroying the image. However, whatever damage you do to the image will also happen to the object itself. If you laser remove it, the object will end up being badly burned. If you scratch it out completely, it'll have those same scratches when returning to the world. So if you were thinking you could use this guy's skin for storage, you better reconsider that if you want your object back in the same condition that you started it. Properties of this anomaly were discovered when both subjects were being held as D-class. The tattooee is an ex-yakuza who collects tattoos of people he's killed. He believes that if he can get it out of his head and onto his skin, he can forget it, which in a way is doubly true thanks to the anomalous properties. After being a test subject for a redacted SCP, he had an image representing it tattooed onto his skin. This resulted in the SCP disappearing from containment, causing a whole lot of confusion. The tattoo artist is a man implicated in a series of murders, spending his time in D-class confinement giving other subjects tattoos. For whatever reason, the effects will only manifest if these two men are the only ones involved and are using a certain handmade tattoo needle. However, the tattoo artist is currently in a self-induced coma, likely due to the stress induced through testing 3253. Nobody's sure as to when he may recover, so in the meantime, this is a relatively safe SCP. But imagine what could be done with this power if they were both outside containment and fully aware of the possibilities. They get a lot done. Coming in at number 4, SCP-3646. As if regular mosquitoes weren't bad enough, now we've got phantom mosquitoes. Thankfully, these nasty nits are easy to tell apart from the generic ones. Pale white coloration and an odd feathery appendage extruding from the abdomen will tell you whether or not you're dealing with ghostly bloodsuckers. Instances of 3646 do not show signs of aging, have an unknown lifespan, and are sexless. They reproduce via anomalous means, as large amounts of new instances will appear on or near a corpse killed by other 3646s. All this is anomalous, yes, but the real weirdness begins after one dies. After brain functions cease, the next organism to come into contact with the corpse will display a progression of anomalous symptoms. There are 6 stages in all, getting progressively worse over the course of days. Stage 1 has the subject begin experiencing mild auditory hallucinations, like the sound of a mosquito flying past their ears, you know, that high-pitched whining. Stage 2 sees these hallucinations double in frequency, often causing what seems like simultaneous noises. The subject will also develop seemingly permanent goosebumps and try to cover exposed skin as much as possible. The next stage begins producing tactile hallucinations on the subject's limbs and neck, causing extreme agitation. These physical sensations can be stopped by swatting at their locations. Then the hallucinations become constant, leading to sleep deprivation and panic, as well as intense itching all over. By stage 5, welts similar to regular mosquito bites will develop all over their body, and subjects report that the buzzing has intensified into something that can be described as screaming. Then, in the final stage, all the blood in their body will start to dematerialize, leading to complete exsanguination and death. If anyone can think of a worse way to go, please let me know. Invisible, unkillable mosquitoes draining every last drop. I'm imagining a deflation scenario like the one from the Spookies, or maybe Wax Mask. Either way, good lord. Coming in at number 3, SCP-4308. The classical magical guitar trope. It's every high schooler's dream. I'm gonna write some songs and express my innermost feelings, and finally everyone's gonna understand me. In fact, they better do more than understand me. They need to experience the exact thing that I'm experiencing. Cue maniacal teen laughter. 4308 is a black Steinberger scepter that exhibits anomalous properties when played. Anyone subject to the music produced by it will enter an illusory state, representing the tune of the song in terms of motion. So if the song is happy, they'll experience an elating illusion, and if it's sad, they'll be exposed to some downer dreams. Either way, the illusory state will cease when the sound has stopped being produced. The player, however, is unaffected by this, otherwise it might end in some sort of infinite loop of emotions, just like life. Too much? The guitar was found in the possession of Duke, a moody, melancholy guitarist who seems to want to impose his high school tear sadness and anger on everyone around. He was reported to make songs like Lonesome, which made people in the crowd disappear into shadows and think lonely thoughts. Overshadowed, which made people think about childhood friends that were treated better than them. Horrible Pain, which seemed to bring up images of screaming, gunshots, knife wounds, and corpses. And Heartbroken, which literally had a person envision the removal and shattering of their own heart. Subtle, subtle songwriting. This guy will go far. It should be safe in the Foundation's security locker, but if a major moody star got their hands on this, we'd be in for one hell of an emotional roller coaster. Coming in number 2, we've got SCP-4106, the tragic tale of the lovebird. Oh man. 4106 is a particularly strong and smart bird who only likes one researcher. Anyone else will get bit, resulting in the manifestation of 4106-1, another lovebird. This bird will bite and hurt 4106, and then they will cuddle for about an hour before it flies away. Sounds like some of my old flames. I'm kidding! Maybe. When 4106 flies away, it cannot be stopped as it seems to be able to fly straight through solid objects. While hard to contain, this doesn't seem too dangerous, right? Essentially being lovebirds. Well, the major focus of the story might be on 4106 itself, but it presents plenty of ideas about the functioning of the Foundation that have wider reaching implications. In fact, this entry is a story of the loss of funding leading to the downfall of security protocol. Originally, 4106 was classified as safe. It was kept in a cage with electromagnetic locks and taken care of appropriately. There is zero chance of escape or of manifesting 4106-1. However, as government funding and other resources decreased, it became harder to contain 4106. Eventually, it was upgraded to Euclid and then Keter. The electromagnetic locks were replaced with padlocks. Staffing on site was reduced. Soon it was moved to a small remote shack with little to no actual security. If the Foundation was having so much trouble containing a slightly above average lovebird, imagine what was happening elsewhere with more dangerous and volatile entities. Not ideal, as you might be able to imagine. If Mr. Seeds over here can just fly right out, I'd rather not be anywhere near any of the other sites. If we're to follow through on this canon, we'd also find out that the Global Occult Organization was given free reign by governments to destroy entities wherever appropriate. And knowing the GOC, wherever appropriate means at the drop of a hat. That's a dark, dark universe we're looking in. All because of a little bird. And finally at number 1, SCP-4798. Oh, so you're into poetry. Name 5 poets. Recite a stanza. Tell me about transgenic poetry. Oh, you can't? Fake poetry fan over here doesn't even know about the anomalous process of using written words to synthesize nucleotides and DNA. Okay, I'm never doing that bit again, I'm sorry. SCP-4798 is a population of anomalous organisms, mostly flora, that exist as a product of transgenic poetry. It can spread to other biological organisms as it is pseudomimetic in nature. This often leads to mutations in said organisms, which results in anomalous properties manifesting. This is especially obvious in humans as they tend to demonstrate a heightened understanding of the meaning and semantic nature of 4798. And of course, you should always be wary of someone who suddenly claims to understand poetry. The anomalous properties are varied across different subjects, ranging from relatively harmless to extremely dangerous. Harmless instances can be stuff like creating specific weather patterns to draw lines in the sand, or only being capable of existing while standing on paper. Dangerous ones can be expressed by causing seizures in nearby organisms and writing poems in the flesh of folks. Whatever's causing all this wants to express itself through poetry. Violent, transgenic poetry. Brush up on your literary devices and meet me in the library. So, what do you think? Odd enough for you? Had you heard of any of these skips before? Are there any that you'd like to see covered next time? What is your favorite dessert? Let me know down in the comments. Speaking of comments, let's take a quick look at some of your more luxurious ones from top 5 disgusting horror movies that will change you. Brazil Bread says, random thought, lettuce doesn't deserve to be on tacos. Big agree. Crush some tortilla chips on top for twice the crunch and twice the flavor. Clay Schwitz says, I'm trying to think of the most traumatizing horror film I've ever seen. Get back to you on it. Might take a very long think session. Lol. It's not super easy to come up with. I would know. Plus, it tends to be pretty subjective based on people's individual fears. Lord Sabo says, imagine watching Antichrist in the cinema with your family. Who in their right mind would bring the family to a Lars von Trier flick? Forget Antichrist, imagine Nymphomaniac. Leo says, this is not the Firefly series I know, LMAO. No Nathan Fillion on this trip, and no intergalactic travel either. Less heartwarming too. And DKnight11D_GalaxyWolf29 says, :3, Garfield? Is that you? And that's all the time we have for today. Before I put on some concrete shoes and go for a swim, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more spooky stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.